It's time we all talked about a serious problem in Monster Hunter World. And that problem? Not enough Fatalis. There's so many monsters with so little time, so little space in this game, it's honestly a big crime. Look at all these environments and all these cool places, we have a serious lack of seriously cool faces. These new monsters are fantastic, their moves such a nice, but I wouldn't mind a few monsters returning in the Iceborne expansions, especially ones with real thick lore, eviscerating civilization, engineering the emancipation of all of the humans and all of the monsters camping in its home. Nothing can stop him from making this whole planet moan. So without further ado and plenty of time to savor it, let's talk about a monster who's truly a fan favorite.
Hello, my fellow hunters. If there is one thing that I want to slot so perfectly into Monster Hunter World, it has to be he who stands atop all. Fatalis, the Black Dragon, the first amongst them, the god, the first-class dangerous monster, he who every other living thing instinctively fears. Because look, the TLDR, the bottom line is, his fight in the old games is pretty bad. It's not that epic, certainly doesn't match up to the legend of him, it's very low intensity, and you just kind of beat through a huge health pool and he dies. But taking him and giving him a world makeover, imagine what they could do. Simply speaking, imagine the Luna treatment, but Fatalis. Luna used to be just a blue Teostra, basic, uninspired, and now is gorgeous. One of the most creative encounters. Imagine Fatalis getting that. But why Fatalis outside of, it's Fatalis, let's do it, haha! Well, it's the 15th anniversary! Yeah! And, as always, there is artwork to celebrate it. And that celebration is normally every flagship, but in this case, it is every flagship, and oh, it's so sexy art. Look at it, just, oh. Alright, no, I need to ask you something. Am I crazy here, or when you just frame it like this, does Rathalos's wing look like Nergigante's arm? Like, is it like, is that just me? Either way, you notice Fatalis off on the side here, looking very imposing. And then we also have this, look at him, the most detailed rendition officially of Fatalis ever. He looks gorgeous. Oh, you could just lose yourself in those eyes. And look, while this is not at all proof for any kind that he's going to be in Iceborne, it's just, the event, and he's an important monster, arguably the most important lore-wise, so they included him. But it does seem a little bit random, right? And there seems to be a little bit of a push, like there's been more Fatalis merch released recently, and again, that feels like you're clutching at straws, tinfoil hat time, and you could say the Iceborne logo kinda looks, actually, if we're gonna go for it, maybe stylized Fatalis there. Ooh. Alright, I'll stop pushing that button. There's nothing really to say that we should get him in Iceborne. I don't think they're trying to subtly hint at him or try to remind us, hey guys, remember Fatalis? Wouldn't that be cool if we brought him back? But he certainly is in people's minds right now because of the anniversary. So let's talk about him. Now, lore-wise, we can't delve into it. It took me 25 minutes of a lore video just to cover the basics, and you can and should go watch that. But, needless to say, someone who can call Elder Dragons to them to fight for them, that kind of marries well with World's themes, right? Elder Dragons going places for a purpose, in the Rotten Vale to die, or Xeno'jiva luring them in perhaps to harvest energy? What if the reason this new Iceborne island is so abuzz with strong creatures is that in its heart lies a now awakened Fatalis that is going to serve as the final eclectic encounter, and what they could do with him. He is supposed to have fire hotter and more intense than any other creature. He's supposed to scorch the earth itself. Alright, look, let me give you a quick little taster of Fatalis. This official song from in-game about him.
When the world is full of wyverns, the legend is revived. Meat is eaten, bone is crunched, and blood is sucked up dry. He burns the earth and melts through iron. He boils the rivers and mows down trees. He awakens the winds and lights an inferno. He is called Fatalis, the Wyvern of Destiny. He is called Fatalis, the Wyvern of Destruction. Call for help, run for your lives, and don't forget to pray to the skies. He is called Fatalis, the Wyvern of Destiny. He is called Fatalis, the Wyvern of Destruction. Fatalis, Fatalis, heaven and earth are yours. Fatalis, Fatalis, heaven and earth are yours.
Okay, hi everyone who skipped that because I can't sing, and hi everyone who did listen to it because you were an alright viewer. Thank you, alright? High five! So what I would love is that while fighting him, the battlefield changes exponentially based on him. I'd like to fight a monster that permanently alters what you're dealing with. Maybe somewhat wherever he happens to fire his flamethrower of doom, it leaves the ground there melted, gooey mess for the encounter now that slows you, maybe does damage, maybe turns it into permanent health melting hotness that you get in the Elder's Recess, just as a small idea, right? Maybe you start in a small chamber, maybe underground, maybe you're delving and exploring and you find this ancient Fatalis. We're not going to get Crimson or White, I doubt, at the same time as normal hymns. There's no real point exploring them, though Angry Fatalis and Old Fatalis I love too. Or maybe you start in the chamber and eventually he smashes through a wall, opening up the arena, and you kind of progress, like with the Xenofight, but without a Wingdrake transition. It just happens naturally. And I think they could totally pull this off. Have him show that strength, just clobbering as the building and the structure falls around you in this sort of tomb-esque zone, and you start to get towards the surface and now have a full-on plateau in which you do battle. I want him to take to the skies more, show off that he is the strongest flyer, absolute brute force and speed. Well, maybe not the speed to match Valstrax, but that's kind of his jet hawky thing. But in general, he spends most of his time slowly wriggling along the ground. This is a dude that hates humans, hates hunters, hates everything, and he comes at you like it's a lazy Sunday afternoon and he's just got out of bed and he's not really sure what he's doing, and I just I actually made myself yawn then. I'm Fatalis and I just I don't feel like killing you that hard, and it lacks a certain heart that it should have at all times when facing such a creature of myth. And I don't think they should completely redo him. Like with Naga and Kezu, I suggested the Hunter hunted, give them a whole environment tie, a whole extra mechanic around them. No, with Fatalis, I just want him to get a super slick lick of paint. The Lunar treatment, as I hinted at earlier, give him that reason to really, because right now, he's just forgotten about. Nobody really cares to fight him. And we don't want Fatalis to be forgotten forever. Can you imagine, Fatalis, if you were forgotten forever? Exactly. Oh, and he would also make the perfect enemy to fight multiple times in stages with rappels over various quests, like kind of Zora, but not a huge titanic spectacle fight as you go through the Iceborne story. I just like the idea of them toying with the Fatalis using his so-called Elder Calling as a reason to swarm that island in stronger monsters. Maybe them having to live in close proximity to something so godlike, so supremely powerful, seeping through it all is why that is the master rank level there. I don't know, I kind of feel like there could be some serious potential. Maybe hint at him, maybe shadows in the sky across hunts, like when Valstrax appears as a comet in GU. Have him actually seem to affect things as you progress forward, but you're not quite sure what, because no one's going to think it's a Fatalis. What better way to have such an extreme result, an extreme finding, something unthinkable, and how are we going to deal with Fatalis? I just want to hear the commander yell about Fatalis and a Dragonator in the same sentence. Is that so much to ask? And I just can't get the feeling that this year of all years, when Iceborne comes out, there really isn't a better choice for something so fully powerful and impactful as a final Fatalis fight. I have this gut feeling, you know, I got that Fatalis feeling. And while I'd probably prefer a Latreon because his elemental shenaniganry in World's aesthetic would look wonderful, and he was on the leak list, so maybe we are getting 2 black dragons in what? That would be absolutely... Imagine a turf war between Fatalis and a Latreon. Good God. I realise these into the Iceborne to me just going, oh, it wouldn't be cool if... But sometimes that's fun, right? Let's get fucking pumped together and get happy, excited, and just flap our tongues around. Exactly, Fatalis. Exactly. But no, you could do a really oppressive atmosphere. All living things fear him. You could have this kind of uneasy feeling building, the suspense, the tension in the atmosphere, this grim gut sensation that you're not quite sure what, everything just not quite right as you go through the island. Maybe have a monster you're about to fight suddenly get this, like, feeling come over him, get scared and run off, and you're like, why is that happening? Maybe allude to this. Maybe have an elder dragon approach you, kind of lift up his head like he's hearing something that you can't, and then suddenly turn around and sprint off, and you're like, oh God, oh Lord, where he going? Ooh, what is happening? And I just think we need a black dragon. We need a black dragon in World. It would just be too titanic, too epic. You could have such a colossal fight. His flamethrower itself would be incredible. And as I said, really have the environment play into it. Have him really take you in a battle across the island. I realize that's probably getting a little bit beyond the scope, but I could totally see him take up an entire, well, what we know to be sized map, like the entire ancient forest. You fight him through there in stages, and everything changes as you go along, somewhat randomly, maybe somewhat a bit scripted too, but ultimately I think the perfect crown jewel to Monster Hunter World in its expansion that is getting such the buzz that Iceborne is a black dragon. And you can't have Diamoralis. I don't think they'll bring underwater combat back randomly, though that would be a plot twist and a half. I think Latreon, I mean, he's on the leak list. He would be fun. You could do some cool elemental stuff. Now, he could really make it happen with ice, lightning, fire, and dragon terraforming the very land in his apocalyptic weather. But when all is said and done, Fatalis, the super final boss of the first Monster Hunter on this, the year of the anniversary, remade, reforged to be the most singular, heart-pounding, epic experience you have ever had. Give him new moves, give him a new pattern, give him his lore made flesh, fully represented in a fight. Make him the black dragon that he is. Make us feel mechanically that he really did destroy an entire kingdom by himself. I just want to feel like I'm fighting a god. That it should be near impossible, but so sweetly doable and so supremely satisfying when by the skin of your teeth you stand victorious and a legend. God damn. But look, don't take my word for it. Here's Cotton's thoughts on the subject. Right, Cotton?
What? So Fatalis in World, what would I do? I think the answer is simple, and it's actually tracking fireballs. Because Fatalis, normally, as he is right now, when he hits you and he doesn't kill you, it feels just sort of like he's wimpy and weak. Whereas if you were to implement something like tracking fireballs, which really shows how in control he is of the fire, how much of a threat he really is, that he could have destroyed civilizations, that makes it feel like when it hits you lightly, he's holding back, like he's just playing with you, like you're some sort of joke to him. And that is how you make him actually live up to the lore while still having it be a fair fight. Yeah, Fatalis.
Either way, guys, I just want to get the discussion going for Fatalis, and if you think that this 15th anniversary, the logo similarity, the subtle focus, if it might actually happen, if it might very well get there, ooh, what do you think? What would your ideas be for him? Let's just get real fucking excited, because I am, my word, together. Like you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more, let us know who you'd like to see next. A goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.